Hey everyone, welcome to the Arsenal Galaxy podcast. I'm your host, Alonzo Ronnie Spencer. Joining me today is Tony the Tiger Turner. How you doing, Tony?
Could be better. Could not be at the hospital for the last almost 2 weeks now.
Uh, are you
It's been
feeling
going
better
on
though than you
longer
were?
or so. Yeah.
Were you able to watch SummerSlam?
Was I able to what?
Watch SummerSlam?
Yeah, I watched all of night one and parts of night two.
Okay.
I was just happy. I was happy I was right and Rollins cashed in.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I think, I've kind of been annoyed with that whole thing. I think that You know, um, I think he's gotten a lot of pushes lately, and I know a lot of people, including myself, are not a big fan of that because once he has the title, he always gets hurt. So my thought was that he would always get these runs and get hurt again, like he always does. It seems like so. I actually thought it was really a real thing, and because as you know, or in the past when he's had these injuries, it's kind of put him on the shelf for quite a while.
Yeah,
Um,
the only two people that knew besides him was Becky and the baby.
well, Paul
And
Heyman,
And the baby did tell the teacher,
can you explain to me?
Archie or whatever his name is. I don't think Paul Heyman knew at first because I don't think going into the night they knew if Gunther's nose was a hold up or not. Because from what I read, he really didn't want to set foot in New Jersey that night. But
Who, Seth Rollins?
yeah, I mean he works a lot of hours. So does Becky. They both working a lot.
Um, so you think it was
Uh,
a break then?
yeah,
Like a break from wrestling?
I mean, it hasn't been that long removed from what he had a hurt back, hurt shoulder. He had like three or four body parts down like I usually do.
Right. So do you think it was meant? Do you think the whole plan was for him to cash it at SummerSlam? Just for,
I think originally, I'm not sure if there was after. I think he definitely jammed up his knee a little bit, but a lot of times those knee injuries you can just run through them, and they're weird. But ones that you look at, you're like, oh, that looks really bad. Generally aren't that bad unless the ones you see in basketball and you watch their knee bounce and you can just see everything separated.
or break?
It's it's kind of hard to see in wrestling what the extent of an injury is.
Yeah, but
That's like when Dakota guys celebrated for winning, even though the knee injury happened there. It happens.
yeah, yeah. So we're just gonna go
The
down.
thing I thought was weird about it, and maybe it's just because I was watching it on a smaller TV from a hospital, but I thought all the like gel lighting they had, I thought it looked weird, and I thought at times the fans looked kind of quiet because they weren't able to see what they were trying to show them, especially that first night.
Yeah, I mean, you know, So Tony, I want to go down like the results to let people know what happened and all that. So the first match, um, hey Russ, um, so the first match was Roman Reigns versus Jey Uso. I don't know if you saw it or not, but they defeated Bronson Reed and Brian Breaker. Um, to me, I know in the past that you made this argument that how could John Cena lose to Solo Sikoa whenever John Cena potentially had won that match. And originally, I thought that this is how this match would go down because clearly, Bronson Reed is this fat slob who jumps off the top rope, and then that's the finishing move for him. And then, Braun Breaker to me seems the most athletic out of the two, but it seems like all he does is a spear. Um, were you expecting them to win, or do you think that Rollins and Jey Uso were going to come out victorious?
I thought the Usos were to come out and win it.
Jim Rollins and Jey Uso, right? Um, Roman Reigns and Jey Uso.
Yeah, I thought it's kind of one of those throwaway fights. I was surprised they moved that to the first match.
Russ says nothing stops Tony from being on YouTube
What keeps me from being on YouTube?
and being out in the
Oh,
hospital. I mean, Tony, I think, this is how bad it's gotten, which to me it was creative. You have Roman Reigns now fighting a tag team match with his cousin versus too many Carters. And the video that I posted with you and Russ, seems like Roman Reigns should not be doing that. He should be fighting for the belt. You know what I mean? You don't
yeah,
just want to be.
but the thing is that though, Alonzo, he'll be around for 6 weeks, then he'll be gone for another 6 weeks. I mean, he works maybe 12 weeks the entire year. So
Yeah, I get that, but I mean, it just ruins everything to me. It's like why be there tag team match wise just for the audience can see you. So there's a lot of things wrong with to me with that. Um,
what I think long term, what's happened, which is that happened pretty quick. Father Times closing in on Naomi. She's ready to turn 38. Still wants kids. I'm sure Jim probably wants a break. So maybe it's Roman and his other cousin. So maybe you see those two team up for a while. But I don't think any of them's gonna be in it too much longer.
I think the opposite, and that may be naive, but I think Naomi and Big Jim, right? Big Jimmy Uso, there's no like he's also a jobber now. Seems like because
Yeah.
he doesn't have a part now to play besides helping out Video Part Two, and it seems like it's wasted now. His opportunities come and gone. Now he's being suited now for Sam Werewolf. So and listen, if they wanted kids, they would have had a long time ago. I mean, I know things had changed. So I think them wanting kids can still happen, but I think with writing goes, what do you put down me? She just wanted the belt again, so she's not gonna. I don't think she's gonna stop not being champion, and I think she deserves it. I guess to be champion for a long time. So I don't see her quitting anytime soon. And I think Roman
I
Reigns
don't know.
still. I think his ambitions being an actor are still there, but I still think that he kind of owes the WWE for some reason, just like The Rock
Oh,
does. Go ahead.
all those guys do the whole tribal, not tribal, whatever they try to call them now. I forgot what they call solos group now, but
And you see Jay Uso still get a rise with the audience by doing his eat stuff. Eat. So I mean, I think it'll be around for a long time, Tony. So I think we have to agree to disagree with the whole, you know, um, I guess bloodline thing because it's still pretty relevant. Right. So what do you think of?
before you move on, just because you made that comment, I thought it was funny that Bronson Reed said that tsunamis destroys islands, and he
You
loves
said
doing the
that?
tsunamis. Yeah, he said that. And another thing about him, I'm sure you see that. I'm not sure how much it started before this weekend, but him becoming a shoe bandit.
Oh, the turtle thief.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, look, the way I see it with Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, it's like they're like his henchmen, like, and like to me, Bronson Reed is just everything that Samoan. What did he do? That the Samoan Destroyer. It's
yeah,
so annoying. It's like this Samoan Spike. It's like, what do you get out of that? So it's like, God, and this is part of the problem with WWE. They see these wrestlers with no mic mic skills. They're just there, just for the sake of it. I wish Russ was here so he could talk more about how I feel about Solo, and now it's Bronson Reed. It's like they had no athleticism other than okay, I'm gonna go to the jump rope and do this little swim technique, and oh yeah,
and,
I'm supposed to call it. I'm gonna swing my arm against her throat and call it a spike. Come on, dude, like that's not a finishing to me. So
and, and it's funny because you mentioned that because it was Reed that started the 6 or 7 tsunamis on Seth Rollins that started him getting injured and finally got the push that I mean he deserved a push, but they haven't done much with him. I think that's part of why Brock Lesnar's coming on, probably to work with both of them.
so you think he's gonna join the faction?
I he might not join it officially, but I think he's gonna be training the guys.
You think he'd do that, Tony?
Yeah, why not?
Well, I
Plenty of
mean,
people helped him out. Well, lots of people helped him out.
like the Undertaker.
There's lots of them. Henry, Mark Henry. There's lots of those guys that did. I just wish we got to see more him and Bobby Lashley. That's what I would have did if I was Brock. I would have went to AEW, go see what he could
Isn't
do
that
against Hurt Locker.
isn't that 2022 or 21?
Uh, I can't remember.
Right,
I
Tony.
just think
So
that.
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I'll let you can continue through the results.
Right. So the next match was for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship. Alexa Bliss, Charlotte Flair versus Roxanne Perez and um, Raquel Rodriguez.
Yeah, that was kind of
What
a
do you make of that? What do you make out of that
two,
match,
two,
Tony?
uh, pretty much other times you've seen those wrestles basically Perez versus Bliss because I don't think Flair did much. I don't know what Triple H is of all the things he sees. I don't see what he sees in Rodriguez. I mean, she still has the top number of tag team champions. I think that's kind of weird. I still think it's weird they don't have the NXT champion. I think they need more women's tag champions. But overall, it wasn't a bad match. It wasn't a great match. I think Bliss is still a little injured, so they're taking that
Like,
easy. But
you think Alexa Bliss is injured?
yeah, they made multiple, especially I think they made more mention of it last night than they did on Saturday night.
So she's actually injured, Tony.
What they were saying, whether it's true or not's a different story. You know, wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, despite all of that, they did a pretty good job tagging with each other. I had no issues with the match. You know, I think you mentioned it before, and they did as well. That Roxanne Perez hasn't won a match in a while by every single competition or tag team now.
She she
Do
she
you,
she's something. The last time I seen it, Alonzo, it was something like 3 out of 27 for the year, something like that. And she's probably the best wrestlers they have.
do you think
But it's like
do you
she
think
was
that it's
winning all the time on NXT. Then they were like, okay, we're gonna bring you over here. She was over here. Then they ended up bringing a couple of other NXT ladies over during the same time, and it's like if they're trying to build their stock, saying how good the women's division is, why the hell do you have her losing? Especially when she started training when she was 15 years old with Booker doing a 7 hour train ride every day. I mean,
okay? So do you think that it's kind of unfair seeing Julia winning and getting the belt automatically to where you're seeing Roxanne Perez struggle to make an impact, or do you think it's just all in time that she'll get better, or is it part of something bigger? Do you think?
I don't know what their plan is. Here we are. Supposedly the draft's supposed to be in October, so that's start of a season's usually that first week of October. So that would kind of line up for that. I have to look. I believe Survivor Series is the night before Raw's in Oklahoma City. So I might try to snag a ticket.
So, do you think that it's fair though because Julia and her come out at the same time, or do you think that it's kind of how it's supposed to meant to be that Julia get a push and she kind of not?
I don't like it, and you were there to watch it with me and Tom originally. I don't think, but it showed Julia in the audience. It wasn't any of her own fault, but she was on screen sitting next to Regal, which had brought her in, and it was another year after that before she finally had her first match. But she just looked so unhappy and frustrated sitting there, but she had no clue she was on camera. But I don't know. I don't think she's as good as Perez.
Hmm,
Still not as good as Stephanie.
for
And
sure.
there's 4 or 5 other just Oriental ones that are starting to make their pop that are probably already better than Julia. So I'm not sure what they're gonna do.
Yeah, I mean, I would assume that they would give Stephanie Ricciardo more of a push than Julia. I think that she's naturally talented than Julia, but you know, Roxanne Perez, I think should be okay with being a tag team champ, or at least a tag team contender now. Um, okay, so the next match of that night was Sami Zayn versus Kieran Cross. Sort of like a rematch of Friday Night Main Event, I believe it was. So to me, this is the odd one simply because Sami Zayn, I guess Kieran Cross is trying to get Sami Zayn to turn heel. Um, but Sami Zayn during this
He,
match did not. So
I, I,
apparently,
I,
so apparently, Kieran Cross's contract ends this weekend. What are your
yeah.
thoughts on that, Tony?
See, it's been weird because it's came up a couple of times that their contract had ended and they had resigned. It's been a little bit here and there on it, but he's definitely underused. I, I'm not sure why he would stay. It's like, oh, you finally get two premium live events, the only ones you've had like the last 4 or 5 years. I mean, but I love what he does because he's done it with AJ Styles. He's done it with Sami Zayn. Let's brush my hair like you. Let's do my beard like you. And I like it. I like how he's trying to get inside of him, but he's been completely copied now by Rusev because Rusev basically tried to do the same thing, bring the best out of a wrestler out. I don't think he's I don't think Cross is necessarily trying to make him a heel, but I think he was trying to make him do whatever it takes to win a champion, which the way he wrestles, he's not do that, nor do I think he deserves it with all the talent they have right now. But people like him.
Yeah, I think his whole
People did enough with Cross. They made this big deal where they finally got a action figure of him made. So I mean, there's been lots of guerrilla campaign by him and fans. So it's to be interesting, but I doubt it these days. And
yeah
speaking of who stays, I know this is a get us off topic, but what's happened to Ron Killings?
So I asked this to Tom. I was like, what's the point of him bring him back, especially now that John Cena's turned back to babyface? It's like I don't want to say got screwed over, but it's like almost, well, what was the whole point of that? Um, it's very frustrating because he was that class clown kind of anti-hero, kind of made everyone laugh, but I don't know what happened to him. I mean, it's a shame. I think that he was going to be a part of something bigger, where John Cena still being heel, but the whole thing just didn't work out. So yeah, I think I think his I think his limbo right now, Tony. To be honest, what are your
Yeah,
thoughts on that?
I just think it's weird. It's like why'd you bring him back just because fans made that big of a deal of it? And to me, it's like releasing a 53-year-old wrestler. It's not that big of a deal. I mean, eventually you gotta cut in, but I would give. I'm not sure. I don't know any of those guys behind the scenes jobs anymore. Any of the senior guys,
Yeah, I mean,
but
back
it just comes across me as weird that the fans made that deal. They brought him back, beat Cena, and now just nothing.
yeah, it's front still, and I'm afraid that that's going to happen to LA Knight and the others. It's like you know Sometimes I'm gonna think that Triple H tends to think that they forgot to even on the roster, and I don't know if they had bigger plans for him or what, but it seems like he's been cut out of even on Raw and SmackDown and all that, right? So, you know, again, I think the WWE as a whole missed out on something that could have been good. Originally that was supposed to be the plan, right? I mean, for him to be this other different Ron killings that we never seen before. So kind of disappointed actually because you would assume that he'd be still around, especially with Alistair Black and Damian Priest, I guess, now. So even with that, I think Alistair Black bringing him back was a big deal. At least I like his character, and I think him and Damian Priest could do a lot of good things in the ring and even outside the ring. But why have our truth in that segment if you're not going to elaborate on it? So I think whoever doing creative writing over there, WWE kind of missed the troop there too.
Yeah, it's the same thing like McIntyre. It's like, why do you keep giving him useless matches?
Yeah, we'll talk about that here soon. Right, Tony. So after that, it was Tiffany Stratton. Wait, hold on. I want to go back to Jane Cross. Um, Originally, did you think that he was gonna be get that big of a push, especially with that tag team, and Paul Ellering being involved with his, I guess, faction? What do you even call them, Tony? I forgot now.
The acolytes, the
Yeah, something like
acolytes.
that. No, it wasn't
Uh,
that. No, it was something else.
oh, it was the Samoan dude and the New Zealand dude. I don't know, it's hard to keep all those guys, but
Yes,
I
you just got two.
I thought the push was weird because I thought the push should be coming for Lashley. I thought they said did with Hurt Syndicate, but they let Lashley go for nothing, and on the AEW they go and back to the Hurt Locker he goes. But I mean, I like Cross, but they just never seem to know what to do with him. So maybe they reach a
Yeah,
deal, maybe they don't. We'll find out.
right. So now, Tony, it's Tiffany Stratton.
Biggest loss is be Scarlet.
Oh yeah, whatever it is. So the next match
Come
is
on,
Tiffany Stratton versus Jade Cargill for the Women's WWE Women's Championship.
can I just refer to her as Car Kill? Because at any
Yeah, that's
moment
fine.
she looks like she can just. She just looks like she can really hurt somebody badly. It's not like she's terrible at wrestling. She just
It's a
unless
box
she gets too
machine.
much going on in her head. But she's been working at this for 2.5 years now.
She's a
She's doing
box
it
machine,
4 years
huh?
total.
And give her
Four,
some time, man. Just
4 years total, and to me, she's pretty much flawless. I know Tom sometimes says she's sloppy on her moon assault, but I don't know who else can do the prettiest moon assault like that, bounce off each rope. That'd be tough. I think that's a hard move to do.
are you talking about
I
you
mean, her
talking about Tiffany
gymnastics.
Stratton?
Yeah, I'm talking
I
about
think
Stratton.
okay. So
But
do you think this match was a box match machine, or do you think that it was just? Cause I thought that Jade Cargill was gonna win this match. She should have won this match on paper, but it's a shame that she lost.
I still think they're waiting for Stephanie to come over full time. Russ's girlfriend Grace coming over full time.
So you think
But
that
but
if you think the chair's
but
going to SmackDown?
in case we run out of time here, Alonzo, uh, I think they really screwed up because they had this great event that was Evolution,
Mhm.
which they could have took their time because here we are just the first week of August. A lot of times you have Survivor Series end of August, but now you have Class at Paris at the end of August. I think a lot of this is just they're moving so fast. People get hurt, they change stories,
Mhm.
and that overall hurts the product where they could just slow down and take their time. Because look at the first of the year, we didn't have a January event. You had Royal Rumble as late as it could be. Then everything just hit full gas, full nitro on everything. Let's have as many pay-per-views as we can have, and I don't think that was the right move.
Yeah, that whole class in Paris, and then you're gonna have to go to Perth in October. It's like, wow, this comes fast, man. Then you have groceries in November. It's like, wow, it's crazy, man.
Yeah, but
But
I thought it was a pretty good match, minus that there could have been some pretty bad injuries. Because
right. So next
she
on the
made Tiffany
card,
take some tumbles.
next on the
Poor kid.
card is Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul versus Randy Orton and Donut Roll. I like to call him because he's bigger still.
Rolling out real.
Donut Roll. So Tony, so as much as I can't stand Logan Paul, he's improved a lot since he's been in WWE. Drew McIntyre sacrificed himself
Yeah, I mean,
for the betterment of the match, as did Randy Orton. In my opinion, he's called Donut Roll. Kind of
I,
want to be more
I,
of a match. Randy Orton, I think Randy Orton's frustrated with him because when we tagged in, basically what I saw Tony was Donut Roll getting a big, I guess,
all
push,
he was doing was
and
he was
with
just
him.
killing time because he was gassed.
Jesus, man.
I mean, it takes. Even Barrett said it during the deal. It's like I'd get an injury. It would take me 3 4 months to be in ring shape, which I don't think it would take that long. But maybe it does. Maybe it's a little naivety on my part. But overall, I thought it was just one of those. Oh, here's your typical celebrity match. It was like so much of it like mirrored what you would see at a WrestleMania or whatever. But I just wish he got to see Randy. Randy needs more belts. Hopefully, they're done giving John belts now.
Yeah, I really can't stand the fact that Joey Roll, aka Donut Roll, was always like trying to get a go Tony.
Yeah, I'm
The
good.
nurses. Okay. So yeah, I gave credit to Randy Orton and I guess McIntyre for kind of saving face. Like I said, it was two celebrities trying to wrestle. I think they're trying to give Joey Roll a push. I think Logan Paul as well knew the circumstance. I think the pre-match activities like on SmackDown was pretty well done as far as promotion goes. Um, the match itself, considering Joey Rose not a veteran wrestler, he didn't do that bad. Granted, there's room for improvement. Hopefully, he'll lose more weight to get in shape. But hopefully, he also understands that this is not for the this is for people who've done it for a while. I think that Logan Paul is a natural athlete, so it gives him more. where I think that Joey Rose given opportunity to make mistakes. But I don't know. Hopefully it humbles him. Hopefully he understands that it takes more than just being in the ring and cutting promos and then being fit and learning. And I think he's done a good job of doing the learning part and also getting in shape. Um, so credit to him. I think that he's gonna do it for a while now. But we'll see what happens. Right. So next match is for World Heavyweight Championship. CM Punk versus Gunther. Uh, did you see that match, Tony?
I did see that match, and I also predicted the outcome of that match.
Right. So Gunther dominated that match. Gunther also got hurt very badly to his nose. CM Punk.
Uh, yeah,
Uh,
he hurt his nose, but what I originally saw that he was able to put weight on his leg if he wanted to. I think they were just kind of cautious that Gunther would get hurt, and that's what happened. I forgot what the technical term for his nose exploding like that was, but I think that's what a lot of this was. I think there's a lot of mishaps and training and stuff, and but that's what happens when you have these guys on every show every night. You can do that with the women because you got 20 times more of them. At least talent is one top talent.
well, I think also Tony. I don't think Gunther wrestles that much. I think that in these PLEs, you're most likely gonna have a high maneuver, risky moves because you want to make the fans happy and all that stuff. So I think like whenever you have a title match, case in point, John Cena versus Cody Rhodes, that you're gonna have to do some risky things. And unfortunately, you're gonna have to pay the price. And ultimately, going to pay the price, just like CM Punk would have done had he had been a high risk move. In this case, it happened to Gunther, unfortunately, and he is gonna miss some time because that's the price you pay for being a wrestler in WWE because you want to make the fans happy with doing these kind of things. And to me, it was a good reign. He got the belt back from Jey Uso. CM Punk would eventually win that match. Um, got emotional winning the match. Unfortunately, Seth Rollins caught all by surprise and cashed in the Money in the Bank. Wrestled a little bit, and unfortunately, uh, Seth Rollins did the stomp on CM Punk, ultimately winning the belt. What are your thoughts on that, Tony?
I liked it. I think I've went a little bit for shock value lately, a little too heavy, but I thought that was good shock value. I'll show the next time I do a show, but I love the video that it's basically how do you say holy shit or what the fuck, and like they list like 10, 12 different languages that
Okay.
WWD had to feed in, and I just thought it was funny when they just you hear Rollins music kick in, and you just see the fear in Punk's eyes, and you just know he's finally getting fucked over. Yay! About time.
Yeah, because you don't like food, that's why.
Yep. Don't like him. Sorry, I got
You gotta,
distracted by the scenery.
you gotta go, Tony. You gotta
No,
go.
they're not coming in.
Right. So anyway, uh, I did not like what happened. Of course, I want CM Punk to be successful. Of course, I think he got robbed. I think Seth Rollins coming out. kind of disgrace, but it adds more fuel to the fire. It is what it is at this point. Um,
Yeah, I
I,
mean,
I, I,
he was so hot headed yesterday, Punk. But it's like that's all you get from him. You just get hot headed Punk.
this is good. That's what the fans want. And that's what most fans want. He has every right to be upset, Tony. I mean, imagine winning the title again after all these years and have it slowly dashed away because some punk named Seth Rollins can't get over himself. Now, if that's part of the storyline, I don't know, but most likely it is.
Well, one
Um,
thing I'd like to do though, Alonzo, is that he trained Roland. So I genuinely I feel Rollins dislikes him more. I don't know if it's because he didn't stay loyal to the company, but there's definitely he does not like CM Punk. I don't think there's acting on his part. I think there's Punk because I think Punk pretty much gets along with most people on the roster.
I think I personally find him annoying, because like I said before, Tony, he'll get hurt and then he'll come back and get hurt and then get the guitar run every single time. It's like, to me, I don't think he deserves that.
But but uh, but if you go back and remember a lot of those, Alonzo is it was somebody else got hurt, so he would fill in, or Becky would fill in, and that's what happened last year. It's like he had like 4 or 5 injuries before he finally took those 2 or 3 months off.
Yeah. So, are you ready to discuss Sunday night part two?
Hold on, I didn't hear you.
Are you ready for night to discuss Sunday night?
You did a lot.
Is there, Tony? Are you with us? Right. So Sunday night SummerSlam, for Women's World Championship, Naomi defeated Io Sky and Rhea Ripley. This goes Tony the Tiger. Hey Tony, you
You
there?
sound like Optimus Prime, Dr. Robocop.
You sound like you transfer. You sound like Optimus Prime now, Tony.
Autobots transform.
You good, Tony? You there? And he froze. Tony, you there? Right. So Io Sky and Rhea Ripley wrestled Naomi for the belt. Naomi won. I believe it was she cashed in the Money in the Bank at Evolution, I believe, and it was a rematch between the two because Io Sky and Rhea Ripley had a great match at Evolution. Unfortunately, Naomi came out, cashed in the Money in the Bank, and the rest is history. So, um, Io Sky pinned Rhea Ripley. Unfortunately, Naomi got on her trunks, pinned her, lost the championship, retained the championship. And the next match was a WWE six-man tag team match versus Riot Six, who had the belt. They beat Street Profits, Motor City Machine Guns, DIY, Andrade, and Ray Phoenix. and Fraxium. Fraxium, right. So the match was an awesome match. Great action inside the ring and outside the ring. Candice LeRae got involved as had Bufave and also Nikki Cross. It was a very insane match. I would say the best match of the night simply because it was pretty action packed. You got people going to the tables, people coming up ladders, people falling off ladders. Really, this for me the best match of the night because it was so action packed. A lot of people were trying to get in the belt, especially DIY. Ultimately, the White Six won that match. Some people didn't like that simply because you would have assumed that it's time for Andrade and or Ray, Andrade and Ray Phoenix to get the big push as tag team champions. Unfortunately, that was not in the cards. I think that the tag team division on SmackDown is pretty good. Um, Hence why they had a six six man tag match. Um, so hopefully they'll have more moving forward, or at least them wrestling more for the belt. I think that any tag team in it and on SmackDown can potentially win the tag team belts. Um, if you watch Raw, understood that Street Profits were pretty upset, as were DIY. Um, no, it's not on Raw, but on during the show. Um, during the post match, uh, during the post match, um, SummerSlam show, there's they showed their frustration on why they couldn't win and etc. Right. So the next match is for the women's Intercontinental belt versus Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria. This match was a street fight essentially. I mean, no holds barred match. Um, this match was kind of controlled by dominated by Becky Lynch. Seems like she at one point had Valkyria in handcuffs. Um, but all in all, it was a good match. I appreciate that they used every weapon they could. You saw church shots, you saw handcuffs, you saw toolbox. Uh, so at the very end, towards the end of the match, you saw Bailey come out, and you know Bailey and Becky Lynch are rivals. They've been long-time rivals for a long time now, and Becky Lynch was wanting Bailey to hit her with crowbar. Unfortunately, she didn't. But clearly, Valkyria could not ask for a rematch once Becky Lynch is a champion. So that's one of the stipulations of the match is that Lara Valkyria cannot ask for a rematch as long as Becky Lynch holds the belt. Which is kind of, this is the second, I think, third time now that Lara has wrestled Becky Lynch for the belt, so it's kind of getting old now. But it did see Bailey come out to maybe interfere with the match. It didn't work out, but Valkyria was visibly upset about that, considering that this is twice now it's happened. So you could see a potential match between two girls, Valkyria and Bailey. Um, the way that the WWE has used Bailey can be a waste of time. I think that both Becky Lynch and Bailey have taken a step backwards as far as wrestling for the championship. this is what I mentioned to Tony about earlier with Roman Reigns. He's now become a tag team partner instead of wrestling for or competing for a title. It's a shame, but it is what it is. Hopefully, they're giving more time to Io Sky, Rhea Ripley, and maybe Asuka and Naomi. Um, but yeah, so that Becky Lynch won that match. The next match is for the U.S. United States Championship match. This match is a steel cage match with Solo Sokoa and um, Jacob Hatsu. This match to me was really underwhelming, simply because this is the third time we wrestled for the belt, maybe second time. Um, but they wrestled, I believe, at Saturday night main event. Um, Clearly, this is another case of now that Jacob Hatsu has wrestled Solo Sokoa twice now, then maybe hopefully he'll get a bigger push. But as you know, Triple H will kind of, per usual, screw things up and have Jacob Hatsu wrestle as a mid Carter and not as main eventer. Just like he did LA Knight. This is why it's so disappointing seeing this because he gives Solo Sikoa, who has done nothing, he has done some things, but he's just so boring and not dynamic enough to earn him a U.S. title. This is my opinion. I think it's kind of gotten really stale now with this character, especially not having Tomatonga to Tonga Toa Ottawa, whatever his name is, and now the other guy. There's many of them. I forget their names. Um, but yeah, so Solo Sokoa retains the U.S. title. This is to me another boring match. Um, again, I think that Triple H missed the point here. Um, so yeah, unfortunately, it was really, really underwhelming. Next stop is for the Intercontinental Championship match between Dominic Mysterio and AJ Styles. This is the anniversary of when Rey Mysterio versus Eddie Guerrero. So both men paid tribute to both Eddie Guerrero and Mysterio simply because uh, AJ Styles came out wearing the same pants, wrestling tights that Rey Mysterio did, brought out the lowrider with AJ Styles' son, which is pretty cool. And you see Dominic Mysterio pull off some stunts, which reminded some fans of when Eddie Guerrero did that same thing years ago. So to me, this was a good match. Not great, not bad, just okay. Um, of course, Dominic Mysterio had help. Um, he didn't have help. He didn't have help. He won the match outright. His boot became loose. Therefore, uh, I forgot how he won, but I think he won by hitting AJ Styles with the boot, and then that's how Dominic Mysterio won because of that. So Dominic Mysterio retains the Intercontinental belt. Right. So the last match of the night was for the undisputed WWE Championship. And if you saw SmackDown, you would know that John Cena basically turned face into his character, the eater vitamins, Prince, the good guy John Cena basically, um, and apologizing to Cody Rhodes for acting like a fool. Um, we all fans know that it was all basically written very poorly. John Cena was really never he could never make a good movie. He could never make a good heel. They tried. It was done terribly. Hence the odd truth bit. Right. Um, to me, it was terribly done. Where John Cena turned heel. It was all an act. I knew it. Everyone knew it. It was just bad. So they apologized. John Cena apologized for being a jerk. They made amends. Drank some beer, and all this was done with SmackDown, by the way. So, um, as a fan, it was interesting to see essentially apologizing to the fans because of their poor WrestleMania match. And it was very poor. I don't know if it was in part because of the Rock's interference and all that, um, or his Rock's influence. I think that all stems from Hell in a Cell. The rumors that Rock could come out, Travis Scott could come out. It was a great match. It was a match in which they had a do-over essentially because the match at SummerSlam was just so underwhelming. It was so bad. So that being said, it was pretty cool. It was a lot of action outside the ring, inside the ring. The tables being broken. A lot of the announce table was broken, I believe. A lot of cool stuff happening. A lot of F5s, a lot of Cody cutters, a lot of tables being on the top rope corner there. So yeah, very very nice match. It was a great match. I think one of the greatest matches in SummerSlam history for sure. Um, those are the kind of matches that you want to see. Vincent and CM Punk could have been better. Um, but I think that the John Cena versus Cody Rhodes match was a good match. Um, I didn't think I didn't have a clue who would have won that match. It was just that good. A lot of people were saying before that Cody Rhodes could turn heel, um, but it was well done enough to where it was a good match, and knowing that it didn't disappoint like WrestleMania was a good thing. I'm glad they rectified it in the way um, that fans were not disappointed like they were in WrestleMania. Then shortly after the match ended, uh, the biggest surprise of them all was Brock Lesnar coming back. And, there are rumors or there are stories out there that Nick Khan, or excuse me, it was Michael Cole that said that Nick Khan and Triple H had talked for weeks with Brock Lesnar trying to bring him back. Um, I know that there's a lot of people out there that said that, though not confirmed, that John Cena was pushing for Brock Lesnar to come back. Maybe that's the storyline. Maybe it is part of the storyline. But also, if you know your wrestling, you guys would know that Brock Lesnar and John Cena were rivals. You guys would know that on the Mania after Raw, or the Raw after Mania, Brock Lesnar then came out as well and F5'd John Cena. So there's history there with those two guys. So which leads me to believe that John Cena and Brock Lesnar could potentially meet down the line, um, which makes should make things interesting. So I don't know if that's due in part of Gunther being out for an extended period of time, because originally, from what I read, some reports were saying that John Cena would want to wrestle Gunther for his last match. Now, I don't know if that changed because of Gunther being hurt during his match with CM Punk, or that was all planned all along, that Brock Lesnar was going to come out and um and start beefing essentially with John Cena. Um, so yeah, I'm excited to see what happens. But also, this could rub fans the wrong way after that lawsuit happened with Vince McMahon and Brock Lesnar being named in part of the lawsuit that was filed against Vince McMahon with the woman that was involved with the sexual harassment case. So yeah, a lot to take in, um, but um, very very eventful uh, SummerSlam for the most part. A lot of people retained, a lot of people changed belts. Um, so yeah, it was good to see Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair beating Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez. I kind of like it. I kind of like that. I kind of like that tag team. I think the fans like it as well. So hopefully, the future is bright for them as a tag team run. They won last night on Raw. They beat them 2 times in a row, which is kind of cool as well. Um, but yeah, Tony's gonna be on Thursday with Russ to talk about that. Anyway, thank you guys for listening, watching. Thank you for Tony for stopping by, for chatting a little bit. It's been a while with him. Uh, good to see him talking about the results as well. Yeah, looking forward to seeing what happens with Brock Lesnar and John Cena. Looking forward to seeing what's next for Cody Rhodes and CM Punk versus. I'm curious to know what happens with next with CM Punk and Seth Rollins. Um, and LA Knight to me is lost in all of this. I think LA Knight got screwed over last night, and also at the main event, knowing that knowing that Seth Rollins was basically been trying to say is that Seth Rollins' fake injury kind of rubbed people the wrong way as well, like LA Knight, because I'm still waiting for his push. I'm still waiting for his title run to happen. Hopefully it's sooner than later. Um, and the constant concern. So they wonder what kind of direction the WWE is going. Obviously, there's some bright spots, but you hate to see these wrestlers with good potential being mid carders and jobbers essentially in the making. Um, anyways, that being said, I hope to see you guys soon. I'm gonna try to make more podcasts during the week. Um, so yeah, thanks for joining. Again, thank you for Tony for coming on for a little bit. I appreciate that. And thank you for Russ for watching. See you guys soon. Bye.